welcome back to Low Luxury, and today is going to be so fun because I am showing you not one, but two Balenciaga sweaters. So right here we have what I would call refined Balenciaga, and over here we have got hypebeast Balenciaga, and they are both somehow housed under the same roof that is Demna's Balenciaga. So we're gonna break these down, we're gonna wear them, see how they fit. We're gonna do some legit checking to show you what a real Balenciaga sweater looks like, and we're gonna talk a bit about this dichotomy between the two Balenciagas. But before we get into that, I wanna tell you all about this awesome giveaway I'm doing right here on this channel. So I am gonna be giving away this awesome embroidered Palace sweatshirt. So it's purple with Palace Landrace embroidered in it with the Eiffel Tower, size medium, authenticated by The Real where they listed it for $165. This is from my personal collection. Awesome little sweatshirt, and here's what you have to do to get it. So all you have to do is you have to subscribe to the channel and comment on this video which of the two Balenciaga sweaters you like more and why, and that's it. The first 100 comments will be entered. So as soon as this video hits 100 comments, I will pick a winner randomly out of those. And that means if you enter, you have a 1% chance of winning. That's a way bigger chance than these other contests you see by these other YouTubers where they get thousands and thousands of people entering. So subscribe, comment, and hop on this now to get this awesome Palace Skateboards sweatshirt. To fully understand these two Balenciaga pieces, I think we need to learn more about the history of their creator, Demna Gvasalia. Demna was born in Georgia, which is the country, not the state. And he's spoken about living there when the Soviet Union fell, and suddenly Western brands were everywhere, such as Coke and McDonald's. And this could help explain his logomania obsession and fixation on iconic branding. He trained in Antwerp, which is known for its deconstructionist aesthetic, and interestingly, Demna creates all his looks by first breaking them down and deconstructing those ideas, even the most maximalist ones. His first job was at Maison Margiela, again known for its deconstruction, and then moved on to a senior designer role at Louis Vuitton. Demna said of his time at Margiela, "Nothing after my studies influenced me as much as Margiela. The aesthetic, the way of treating the clothes, liking the clothes, cutting them up, and doing something new with that. That essentially became my own approach." He had less glowing things to say about Louis Vuitton, where he said, "I kept asking myself, is all that effort really necessary to make something that people want to have? I think the answer is no. For me, it was all about clothes. And I think when you do a collection where half of it will never be for sale, it's not a good sign." That's an old way of thinking that I totally do not agree with. Let's put on a big spectacle, make people dream, and then hopefully people will come to the store and buy a basic blouse. Oof. So he quit Louis Vuitton in 2014 to devote himself fully to Vêtements, the independent brand he founded with his brother Guram. And Vêtements became known for their luxe streetwear, athleisure, and tongue-in-cheek humor that they put into each piece of their clothing. The brand is perhaps best known for their famous show in spring-summer 2016 at a Chinese restaurant with some incredible pieces. Demna was announced for the Balenciaga Creative Director role in tandem with this Vêtements show. Since then, he's been on a roll, elevating Balenciaga to a position as perhaps the most covetable brand in all of high fashion. However, Demna has in fact created not one, but two distinct Balenciagas, which are embodied in these two sweaters: the refined, or runway Balenciaga, and the hypebeast, or ready-to-wear Balenciaga. It is these two identities that I want to try and reconcile today. And I found a couple quotes that I think really embody this dichotomy. The first one is, "It's about the importance of ready-to-wear. The clothes we make are quite commercial and wearable. This must have resonated. At many houses, the proportion of ready-to-wear has become so small in comparison to accessories, which I think is problematic." And then another quote, At Balenciaga, I can work on things I would never do at Vetements, actual new luxury products. Despite our high price point, Vetements isn't a luxury brand and never will be one. We don't think in terms of sophistication or elegance at Vetements. These words are anathema to what we are about. But at Balenciaga, those notions are essential, and I have room to redefine them in new ways. Now let's dive in and get a hands-on look at these sweaters. Alright, let's start by talking about hypebeast Balenciaga, and I hope you understand why I call it that, but if you don't, it's because it is part of that whole logomania craze, you know, Balenciaga everywhere, just like you'll see with Gucci, GG's everywhere, Burberry, the Burberry print everywhere. So every brand is really jumping on this big time, and Balenciaga is no different. And in many ways, they kind of took it to an extreme, which is what sometimes makes it more interesting than their counterparts. So unlike some other brands, they seem to see the absurdity in all the logos, and they try to really push it to the limit. So as you can see here, they've stretched the logo, big, small, bend it, kind of stuffed it into each other, and it's almost like all of the logos are fighting for each other. Let's take a look at some of the tags that are on this thing. So it comes with your typical gray tag here, and inside you get the season, so this is 2019 here, and it is a size medium, which is interesting. We'll definitely get into that in a bit. Now let's see if there's any interesting information in these fabric tags here. So we've got this size up top, and then here we can see that it was made in Romania, which is interesting for a Balenciaga piece. A lot of their stuff is either Portugal or Italy, but they went with Romania for this sweater. And you get some interesting stuff looking at the fabrication. So 73% wool, 23% acrylic, which gives it a sort of extra softness, I would say, because wool can tend to be scratchy, so the acrylic kind of balances that out. And then you also get 1% elastane, which gives it a bit of stretch, gives it a slightly more activewear type of sporty feel, right? And you can see it does have a nice sort of ribbed hem here. But really interestingly, it kind of stops there, so the back is cut there, but then there's an extra few inches for the front, which is really interesting. So this piece was from the pre-fall 2019 collection, and Demna uses the pre-season collections to kind of play and have a bit of fun. So for this one, the offerings were really colorful and over the top, featuring all over prints and lots of BB branding. And another interesting thing to point out about this piece is that supposedly, and I'm not sure how many people know this, the British designer Martine Rose played a big part in the direction of the Balenciaga menswear. Demna brought her on when he was starting off with Balenciaga, and this does carry her touch, I would say. I think this is some of her inspiration seeping in here because it has that playfulness that I associate with her brand. Now let's see its competition. So right here we have the competition, which is a kind of cream cable knit sweater, but with this blue pink tie-dye effect going through in various spots throughout. And you can see right away the massive differences between this one and the last one. Obviously they're both Balenciaga, they're both sweaters, and they're both turtlenecks in a way. But that is pretty much where the similarities end, because obviously this knit is very different. This is much more of a classic type of knit, something that you may have seen from the house historically, whereas the other one is very modern. But the unique piece that's thrown into this is that there's all this blue and it kind of stains pink around the edges here. Let's take a look at some of the tags we have on this one. So we've got that same gray tag, always a good sign, except one thing that's different here is that this one does have a sticker on the back that talks about the unevenness of the dye and how it's really part of the charm of the piece, right? And the size on this one is an extra small, again, almost amusing in a way, which you'll see in a little bit. And here's something really interesting is that it's a white tag, which is very rare for Balenciaga. They're almost all black these days. But this one is white with that logo in there in black. And this one, as we discussed with many of their pieces, is made in Italy rather than Romania. And when we look at the fabrication for this one, we see it is 100% cotton. So that is a much more classic fabrication than the wool acrylic elastane mix of the last one. And that makes this a bit thicker and still very soft, but I think it also makes it take this dye much better. If you tried to dye the other one, some of those kind of unnatural materials probably would not take the dye nearly as well. This sweater was one of the closing looks from the Resort 2019 collection, which saw Demna making a few big moves, such as moving away from the chunky sneakers that made them famous and into dressier leather shoes, as well as showing clean tailoring and elevated knits. Vogue called the collection a bigger step towards tailoring and formality, and of course, next season, Demna took a huge step towards more minimalistic tailoring, continuing to refine Balenciaga's offerings. So, both of these sweaters were equally as expensive, both retailed for about $1,200. They both came out within a year of each other, and yet the difference is insane. On the right, you have the hypebeast Balenciaga, and on the left, you have refined Balenciaga. Yet somehow they both fit seamlessly under the same roof of the house. Which one do you like more? Let me know in the comments, and I think the last thing we have to do here is to try them on, see how they feel, and see how they fit. So this thing is an extra small that fits like an extra large. Balenciaga, their fits are known for being oversized, but this is really next level. It is massive. It's nice and heavy, super warm, but also quite soft, seeing as it's all cotton, so it's not scratchy or anything at all. It grabs your neck nice and tight and really locks you in there, and then you get a nice flowiness from the sweater, which is interesting for one that's so thick. So this one is a size medium, but obviously a massive size medium, like super, super oversized. But unlike the refined look, the hypebeast look feels like it has a very intentional oversized cut. So the shoulders are pretty true to size, but then it flares out. It almost feels like a dress or something. And it's massive around the upper arms and then tightens towards the sleeves. So there's a lot of intentionality to the cut of it, but of course, super, super oversized. So, what does it all mean? Well, I think what Demna has done so well is create an end-to-end pipeline for his consumer. As someone first gets out of high school or college and finds their first disposable income, Balenciaga is there for them with accessible yet distinct ready-to-wear pieces like Triple S sneakers, logo-clad shirts and caps, and flashy joggers and track pants. Then, as that customer hopefully moves forward, both financially and stylistically, Balenciaga is still there for them, this time with crisp leather mules and derbies, strong tailoring, and refined knitwear. So those are both of the Balenciaga sweaters, the hypebeast Balenciaga and the refined Balenciaga, and I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you win that Palace sweatshirt. So leave this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.